The Robert Taylor homes were a high-rise public housing project located between 35th and 54th Street. Elizabeth Shavers Adams has lived in the Robert Taylor housing project since 1960 when she moved in with her family.
I've seen some drastic changes. First of all, when we moved in this area, they call it Bronzeville. It was in the year of 1960. We took a place over in Robert Taylor, 4410 South State Street. It was a famous street at the time. We moved to the 12th floor, apartment 1201. My mother was the first family to move in that high rise. It went from the first all the way to the 16th floor. When we got there, everything was peaches and cream. It was just people that from all ethnic groups. They could have been Africans, Chinamans, all ethnic groups, Spanish, black folks. Everybody got along until 20 years later, things began to change. People were standing on the streets. You couldn't get by for the crowds of people. Folks were scared to ride through this downtown, from downtown, going across 39th all the way up to 51st. They were just scared. They were shooting. Fire department, they were scared because people would vandalize their vehicles. Right, they didn't want to come over, but they had to. And this is the changes that came about. And it was some drastic changes. About 20 years after that, they began to tear the buildings down. They started from 35th all the way up to 51st, slowly, gradually tearing the buildings down. They replaced them with some beautiful apartments. From there, we got relocated. I'm back in the area of Bronzeville, and I love it. We don't have the shooting that's going on now in the city. People get along, and the only thing that we don't have is a store, a supermarket.
Zachary Worthy has lived on State Street since 1965 and echoes Adams' sentiments.
It's improving very well. You know, you can feel safe by walking down State Street now. You know, back in the day, no, it was nothing nice.
What's back in the day? 10?
Back in 70, 75, 76, somewhere back in those days.
In 2000, when the city began demolishing the Robert Taylor homes, there were 3,784 units. The final buildings were demolished in 2007. However, what Adams and Woods call improvements looks more like a wasteland. Aside from the dozen or more churches that line the stretch where Taylor once stood, you notice vacant lots, empty schools, and abandoned buildings. And while the city was successful in tearing down the Robert Taylor homes, they have yet to build anything back up.